Hello. Moi. We have some Finns over here. Welcome, Mirja. Welcome, Petrina. Welcome, Asta. Good to see you live. If you want to say something or say something on the chat, I'd love to hear from you. We'll give it a few moments just to see if others join us live. But please say something in the chat if you'd like. Where are you coming in from? How are you feeling? It's Friday evening in Europe. It's Friday morning, midday here in the Americas. I think we're tuning in from all over the world today. Okay, I am gonna put up my slides for today. Let's see, how can I present? Okay, some more people joining in. Let's see. Always a little bit of a hassle this when we get going. Hey, moi Katarina. Hey, Paulina, welcome. All right, let's see. Are you seeing my screen share that I am trying to make into full screen? Okay, here. All right, is this visible? Can someone give me like a thumbs up, a heart? Yes, whatever kind of sign. Yes, I get a live thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Well, yes, thank you. Thank you. So, welcome to As Within, So Without webinar. Whether you are joining through the replay, whether you are here with me live, maybe we have the Finns here from the Friday evening or anywhere in the world, a heartfelt welcome. I am so happy to be sharing. And I was actually surprised. I was sitting here before this webinar started, and I was noticing that I am not as nervous or as kind of like, oh my God, as I normally would be or have been in the past. And then I was thinking, well, this is great because it actually proves my point of this workshop, this webinar today, and our theme about increasing our capacity to be with what I call more life. And with more life, I mean, life is intense. It brings us all kinds of situations. And sometimes we create this very small life where we create this illusion of safety, like maybe we don't interact with that many people, or we don't take that much responsibility in life, or we just don't put ourselves out there, whether it's through art or through our speaking or through our love in the world. And we just create this safe, small life. And that's okay because we all start from there. Usually we all start from there, but then when we begin to gradually increase our capacity, we can have more life flow in and through us, and we are interacting with more life, with more people, with different kinds of situations in life. And for me personally, this is it. Like, this is more life when I share what I've learned and what I've experienced with more and more people. This is more life, and I am not quite as nervous as I used to be in these kinds of situations. So yeah, this work, it works. So my name is Michaela. All of you who are here live with me right now, we know each other. I know who you are. You probably know me quite well from following my things, my yoga and coaching. Um, I am coming in from Costa Rica. I am here preparing to lead a retreat starting on Monday. Um, and I am here at my lovely friend Vera's office. um, yeah, and it's fun to be traveling all around the world, and I'm so grateful to be able to show up online so that we have these platforms where we can all come together and do this work. So, without further ado, I wanted to start with just a little attunement. So, wherever you are, take a moment to settle in. If you are driving a car, if you're still kind of on the go, you can stay with your eyes open and engaged with the external world. But if you're in a room in your own space, you might even close your eyes. In just about 2, 3 minutes, we will be tuning in, checking in with yourself. So, this capacity, it's so much about the body and how we are feeling. So, we'll increase our awareness on the body. So, just as you close your eyes, begin to become aware of where you're seated, where you are laying down, whatever you're doing. And even if you're still doing something like cooking or making tea or arranging something, just become aware of your body. If we only wait until the perfect moment to become aware of our bodies, then we kind of miss the most important work, which is to be aware of the body, even in the moments when we are not on our yoga mats or doing a practice per se. And you might come up with about 3 to 5 observations about your body. So they could be related to temperature, for example. Is your body warm, cold, something in between? Observations could have to do with weight. Are you feeling light? Are you feeling heavy? Are you feeling something in between? They could have to do with some sort of sensation. Is there constriction in the body? Does there feel tightness somewhere in the body? Is there a sense of spaciousness somewhere, lightness somewhere? You might notice a body part that is asking for your attention in this moment. Maybe there is an emotion or a feeling that you are able to become aware of in this moment. Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling restless? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling frustrated, sad? And just anything goes. Whatever you're feeling in this moment, allow that to be. And then we're going to look for something pleasant or neutral in either in your body or in your space. So if your body is not feeling great today and it does not seem to have a place of pleasant sensation or comfort for you, you're welcome to open your eyes and look for something pleasant in your space. Something maybe that pleases your aesthetic eye, something that brings you comfort, like if you see a pillow or blanket, just the feeling of comfort. Otherwise, you can look for this kind of resource within your body. So sometimes the soles of the feet can feel nice and pleasant, maybe the palms of the hand. Sometimes the knees can feel quite pleasant. The belly is interesting. The belly can really feel restless and uncomfortable. And sometimes it can feel really, really comforting. So just look for a place where you can rest your attention to for a moment, finding this sense of neutrality, allowing yourself to feel that. And then, if you'd like to set your personal intention for our time together today, if there is a deeper why or a meaning why you've chosen to join me around this theme of capacity, and bring that into your heart or the forefront of your consciousness. And then allow that intention to float away, trusting that it will manifest, it will become reality exactly in its right timing, in the right way. And then you can begin to open your eyes. And whenever you are ready, you're welcome to join me on the screen. And also, I want to give a permission for you to kind of find your own way of receiving what I have to share today. So if you feel like, because we always spend so much time on our screen. So if you even want to turn away from your screen and only peek at my slides or whatever is happening here only sporadically, you're welcome to, do that. You're welcome to do what you want to do. But I'm just asking for you to be present in the way that you're able to today. And since you'll receive a recording, you won't be missing out on anything. You can always come back to this transmission later on. All right, I'm feeling so much more grounded. I was feeling calm, and then I could feel the kind of nervousness come in and grounded again. So it's a good place to start. Okay, so the name of this webinar, it comes from this very old kind of axiom. I don't even actually know where this axiom comes from, maybe from the Bible or maybe from some Sufi mystical texts. It is very old, however, and it goes as above, so below, as within, so without. As above and so below, it means that we are not separate from God or source or whatever is in charge of this whole creation. Whatever is above out there, which is like a very religious idea that God is somewhere outside of us. It's somewhere out in the heaven, and we are mere humans down here in our, low, low place. But actually, according to this axiom or this way, this saying, whatever is out there is also down here. It's all, there is no up and down. There is just one, different dimensions, different expressions of the same one. As within, so within, inside of ourselves, so without, outside of us. So there is again no separation between what is happening within me and what I am experiencing on the outside. We have the same exact capabilities and resources that are available above. Yet there is a way of aligning ourselves and cultivating our own consciousness internally, in a way that makes those resources almost like become a kind of reality we find ourselves in that is, a result of what is happening internally to us. What is going on inside is what we see on the outside. And this is sometimes a hard pill to swallow because it requires us to take a lot of responsibility. And I want to remind us that, um, the nervous system that we received from our parents, from our childhood, the kind of state that the trauma and the inner state that we have received from our parents and from our culture, that is not something we can personally take responsibility for, because we did not consciously, at least, choose to be born in that family, to get that kind of treatment from our parents, and so on and so on. So we cannot take responsibility or be held accountable for what happened to us. However, what we can take responsibility for is what we do with what happened with us or for what happened to us. And sometimes it is difficult to kind of assume responsibility for the state that we're in, for the nervous system that we currently have, that might be quite inflexible, that might be quite prone to, going out of regulation into dysregulation. But the good news is that we can. There is so much we can do. There is so much we can heal, so much balance that we can bring into our systems, no matter what kind of environment we grew up in. We don't have to keep carrying that into our future. We can take that, we can see it for what it is, and we can notice the effects that it has had in our individual bodies and our ways of thinking and how we see the world. Yet we can choose to move somewhere else. We can choose to move, and not literally, but quite, from the internal perspective, we can decide to move somewhere else, to begin to see the world through different kinds of eyes. And the interesting thing is that our life will always, like, life is so gracious in nature that it will always just mirror us on the outside what is happening to us on the inside. Life wants to make us aware of what is happening on the inside. And I know when it's when we're going through a tough time, it is really, really challenging to receive these words and be like, well, like, we tend to want to kind of blame our circumstances, and we tend to want to say that, well, if only this wasn't this shitty, I would be happier, I could be happier, I could feel lighter, I could feel better. And I don't believe in life or in God that is kind of trying to punish us or wants us to be in this very powerless state. But I believe in life and in God that wants to make us aware of what we are holding in by reflecting that to us on the outside. And what we see on the outside is the perfect mirror to the inside. And life doesn't really give us what we want, no matter how much we say that I want better, I want better. It gives us who we are. And this is where we come to the point of this whole workshop, and to the work that I have been doing myself, and the work that I'm presenting here, because we can, in a way, change the way we relate to our lives. We can change the internal situation, the internal landscape, and therefore we can begin to see something different reflecting in our external reality and in our material life. Yet usually there is a little bit of delay. So when we start changing ourselves, we don't see the changes immediately. We begin to see them over time, because first we change energy. First we cultivate a new kind of energy within ourselves. And as we know, energy travels way faster than how material changes. Matter doesn't change fast, it takes a long time. So therefore, we first change the energy, and then we cultivate patience, and we sit patiently, and we say, okay, I've done my practices, I keep doing my practices, I keep showing up for this work. And then gradually we begin to see our external reality change as well. Okay, I hope this makes sense so far. It's a little bit esoteric. I love to bring the spiritual, the kind of esoteric, the mystical into it. And then I love to ground it into the body. And I love to almost like show an example of how the body and the cosmic field are all in a way the same. We have everything we need within us, in our bodies. And while it is a tough pill to swallow, that damn, I need to take responsibility for what is going on within me, whether it's health condition, be finding confidence to be in front of people, serving people, helping people, finances. It could be anything. And while it is tough to sometimes say, like, okay, I am the one who is creating this reality, then also it's so liberating to realize I am the one who is creating this reality. There are so many things I can do. And why I haven't been able to do while I haven't been able to do what I need to do yet. Now there is like a little doorway or some sort of little beacon of light showing me that, hey, there is more to discover. And maybe if you have been in a situation where you're like, like I don't know where to go, I feel like I have no idea, like what do I do next? Like I feel like I'm running out of ideas. I don't have any more tools. I've done my yoga practice. I've, studied my books. I've done this and this and this. I hope that maybe what I'm sharing here today has piqued your curiosity out of, like for a reason, so that there could be something new, like something you haven't perhaps tried yet, that will restore your faith in yourself and in goodness of life, and show you that there is always a way. There is always, always, always a way. And we just need to stay open to look for that way to show up. And we can always pray and we can ask, like, please show me the way. Where do I need to go? What is next? What have I not seen yet? And there is always a way. So that's the good news. That's the hopeful news. That's the fantastic news, at least for me. Because when I was in my situation of feeling stuck, I was like, I don't know, I feel like I've tried everything and nothing is working out. So maybe I'm just not meant to be happy. Maybe I'm just not meant to be in a good place in life. And then life was like, no, there is still something more. Look deeper, Michaela, go find it. And I went and I found a lot of goodness. And I think it comes later on in the slides, but now it comes to me that the transformation that we're looking for, the breakthrough that we're looking for, is always in the work that we avoid. Wherever we don't want to look at, that is where the transformation is. And I know how challenging it is to look at the stuff that we don't want to look at. And that's why we do this stuff together. And that's why we do it slowly, so that we can slowly and gradually go where we intuitively do not want to go. And then we can usually find courage and we discover that, wait a minute, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And this is where the liberation lies. Okay, I have a nervous system awareness practice for us right away. So for this one, you will need your journal or your piece of paper and a pen. So in this practice, you will become aware of your nervous system and how it is continuously um, tracking for different kinds of threats or danger in your environment. And then we oftentimes are quite our awareness is directed to the things that show us threat or danger or discomfort or whatever it is, because we're so wired for survival. But when we start working with the body, when we start bringing in more regulation, when we start increasing our capacity to be with more life, we need to also teach our bodies to notice and our nervous systems to notice what is safe, what is good, what feels okay. So, in this practice, you will be able to just tune into different kinds of things in your body, in your environment, that either cue for danger. And danger doesn't mean like, oh my God, a lion is coming to get me. But danger could be something very small, but is usually interpreted by our nervous system as a threat. So, I'm going to give an example of, I have a little bit of a neck pain on my left side of the neck. So my nervous system is continuously kind of interpreting that as, oh, there's something off, something is off. It's the neck pain. And if I leave it unchecked, if I don't bring my awareness to it, if I don't become fully aware of the neck pain, I will continuously keep going through my day with the sense that something is off. There is danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. So that's why we will begin to bring awareness to those things. And then we start also shifting our awareness to the things that feel actually good. Well, my right shoulder, my right side of the neck actually feels quite pleasant. So great. So this kind of practice. Yeah, you will need your pen and your paper, and then take a moment to maybe close your eyes and just check for yourself in this moment. How much capacity do you have today to work on stuff. So, what I mean by this is that some days we are really challenged already. Maybe you have been triggered, maybe there's a challenging time for you going on. And that means that your capacity at this moment is less. So, maybe from on a scale from 0 to 10, if 10 would be like, I'm at my best capacity, I'm feeling amazing, I feel so supported, I feel so resourced. And then 0 would be, I have zero capacity for any kind of discomfort right now. If you've been stressed out lately, maybe you are somewhere under 5, maybe you're at 3, 2 or 3 or 4 in your capacity at the moment. And if you are at the upper part of the scale today, maybe you've been feeling really supported, maybe you feel really rested, well nourished, maybe you find yourself at 7 or 8 or even 9. And just check this for yourself so that when we go into these practices, you will be able to tailor the practice and modify the practice according to what is right for you now. So if you're at the upper part of the scale, you might go a little deeper into the practices today. You might be able to work with more energy, more charge. And if you are at the kind of lower part of our scale today, you will choose examples, you will choose sensations in your experience that are less in intensity, less in charge. And so now we're going to go into this awareness practice where we look for these cues of safety and cues of danger. We will look for the cues of danger first in the body. So just find one thing in your body that is cueing for danger or threat or something not being quite right. And as I said, my example is the neck pain, or if you have any digestive issues going on or ache somewhere, just anything you feel in your body that is kind of cueing you to be alert. There is something off in your experience. Maybe there's tightness in the jaw, or maybe you have a slight headache, whatever that is. And then you can write it down. So just write it down on your piece of paper in your notebook. And then once you have that, you're going to go back in and now you're going to look for a cue of safety inside your body. What in your body is now cueing to you that you're safe? And it doesn't have to be um, inside, but it could be also the way the pillow feels behind your back or the couch feels under your seat, something that you can feel with your body. Or maybe your hands are touching your thighs and that temperature feels nice. Something that is cueing your body that you are safe. And just notice how that feels in your system. I'm noticing the sense of softness in my skin. Skin is soft. That is telling me that I am safe in this moment. You can write it down when you have it. And then where we're going next is a cue of danger in your space and a cue of safety in your space. So now you can keep your eyes open. You can look around in your space, and it doesn't have to be a visual thing, but just looking for something that gives you a cue of danger or cue of, hey, stay alert. It could be a cold draft coming in through the window, or it could be noise. Maybe there is a siren or a construction noise outside. It could be what is very typical is mess. I have some piles on the floor. So that is, and as we see, it's not an actual cue of danger. The pile is not going to attack me, but my nervous system goes into a little bit of activation, like, hey, what is that doing over there? I don't like it. So we're just looking for these kinds of things. One thing, and once you find it, I'm going to say my piles on the floor. My nervous system gets a little activated from that. And then you look for a cue of safety. So what gives you the sensation that you are safe in your space? Maybe it's the beauty, something nice, visually pleasing in your space. It could be your couch or your bed that you know that you're always safe in. It could be the temperature, or you have a blanket, it feels comfortable. My cue of safety is going to be the view from the window. And just notice how it makes you feel again. How how does it, and especially the comparison when you look at the thing or when you receive and feel the thing that is activating to you, cueing of danger, and then you shift your awareness to something that, oh, hmm, this is good. And then we have one more. I hope I'm going at a good pace. We have one more. And now, this last one, we're looking for cues of danger and cues of safety within two nervous systems. So it could be in between two people or any animal that has a nervous system. It couldn't be a snake or a lizard because they don't have a nervous system, but it can be a cat, a dog, a horse. So start from the danger again. Is there, between two nervous systems, yours and someone else's, is there a cue of danger there? I, for example, need to reply to a person who sent me an email or a message expressing their challenging emotions. So I have a little bit of kind of, there's alertness or activation between my nervous system and theirs. So I noticed that that is my, almost like a cue of danger. So I'm going to write that down. There was just the U.S. election, so maybe there is an activation between your nervous system and someone in the election, or something going on there between the people related to that. It could be someone from work, something that is cueing you. Be alert. There is something going on here. And then same thing, you're looking for something um, that cues you of safety, a connection between you and maybe your pet or a person whose nervous system calms you down. I'm going to think of my 3-year-old niece. Just being in her presence and seeing her play around, it's like, oh, everything is okay. But it might not be for you. If that niece was sick, for example, that might be a cue of danger in that moment. So it's, we always need to feel, because things are shifting all the time. Okay, and then whenever you're done, write that down, and then you can put down your pen and paper, or practice with the notebook is over. We're going to pause for a moment. We'll just take a little pause to feel, to settle, to notice whatever this brought up for you. If you notice yourself in activation or in some sort of discomfort, you're welcome to bring your awareness back to that pleasant or safe feeling sensation in your body or in your space. So you can ground yourself back into this space. We are here now, and our capacity increases when we are able to kind of experience the discomfort, the activation, the challenge, and then we bring ourselves back into the comfort, into the ease, into the pleasant. And if anyone would like to share, either by unmuting yourself or typing in the chat, how was this practice for you? Would love to hear. And we're going to take a moment to pause so you have the time to either unmute or type your experience. We'll intentionally take it slow, even though there is a lot to cover and there is a part of me that wants to get going or keep going. But I feel like, especially for our theme of feeling the body, feeling the nervous system, it's actually really good practice to just be. That's where we kind of can uncover maybe something that we might otherwise miss. And the real, we kind of really hit the gold, or we strike the gold in this body based work when we're able to stay present with what is. And sometimes it's easier when we are in a group setting, and especially for us here live, we're kind of forced in a good way to be here and just stay present with whatever is going on. All right. If anyone is submitting anything on the chat, I will see it soon. And I want to just map out what the themes for today are, even though we've been already through a lot of it. So I'm going to next talk about a bit more um, of what I mean by capacity, why we need it, and how we do the work. And then I'm going to present you my upcoming mentoring container, and then we're going to do one more practice. Okay. So I think of capacity as having two different dimensions. So we have the roots, that is the first kind of dimension of capacity. They represent our capacity for discomfort, for challenges. And this is where trauma healing happens. This is where strengthening the nervous system happens, the inner child work, the inner safety feeling. So we grow deep roots in order to be able to be with the discomfort, the challenges, the activation, the inevitable challenges that life will continue to present us no matter how how fantastic our life becomes. There will always be challenges, and that's just a fact, because our life, again, as I said in the beginning, life is really gracious in nature. It wants to teach us, it wants to make us strong. We are like trees here, and the tree needs wind in order to grow deep roots. Um, there is a story of a tree that was planted in a place where there was no wind, and the roots of that tree became so shallow they didn't grow far into the earth at all. So before having grown fully, the tree just fell because the roots were not deep enough. And this is true for humans as well. In a way, whatever we have gone through in our lives, the trauma and the discomfort, I don't want to glorify that and romanticize all the pain, but I just know that it is a fact of human life. It just is. And that is the wind that has grown us deep roots. But what I want to bring into our awareness is that then we might have a really strong root system and we might be like, yes, bring it on. I know trauma and I am really good at living with this and I can, turn my other cheek and I can take more turbulence from life. But there is another dimension to capacity, and that is what I'm really, really interested in. And that is the capacity for growth and our ability to handle good in our lives. Because sometimes we stay stuck in the capacity of handling the so-called bad. We're like, yeah, I can stay in a really challenging relationship, and I have the capacity to, I don't need a lot of money. I have the capacity to deal with very little money because I can do it. And then actually that starts almost like turning against us, where we where we, yes, we have very strong roots and we have this capacity to be with challenge, but do we have the capacity to be with good, to allow life to be easy? And that is sometimes interesting because for the rational mind, that makes no sense. It's like, of course, I want, support from people. I want money. I want rest in life. I want good things. And then we might notice that when those things are presented to us, maybe there's a partner that is actually willing to love us, or maybe there is a job opportunity that could really take good care of us. Then these voices of unworthiness begin to arise, and they say, no, I'm not good enough for this. I don't deserve this. I'm an imposter. I shouldn't take this opportunity. And that is to me a sign of low capacity for good. So we are stuck in the capacity for the challenges, and we don't have a very flourishing capacity for good. And we need to work in both directions, of course. We need to always be working in both directions, but it's just interesting to maybe for you to kind of um, reflect in your own life, where is your capacity right now? Where is your capacity to be with challenge? How does your nervous system respond to challenge? And then how does your nervous system respond to good, or good things coming your way? Have you been somehow in a way self-sabotaging the good things? And that's also okay. Like, we need to have a lot of mercy and a lot of grace for ourselves when we begin to see our lives for what they are. And we say that, oh yeah, of course, my current state of being, it's what it is, but I can increase my capacity for all these things. And life will keep giving us opportunities. It's not that one door closed and now it's going to remain forever closed. Another one will open. There will always be a new opportunity. And now that I'm looking at this, first of all, this looks like my logo. Like, it's like so much like my logo. And then also, it looks like the nervous system in the body, because the nerves, they just go around the human body. Um, So I wanted to show you, when we see life from this survival state, when we are in this lessened capacity, um, we tend to see life. I wasn't able to bring this into the slides, but this image over here, uh, this person living in the survival state, kind of in the challenges, only seeing miserable. And then when we begin to regulate ourselves, when we start stepping out of the survival state, we our gaze turns and it begins to see this, and it's the same space, it's the same exact place, but we just see different things. We're wired for different things. Just like in our practice a moment ago, your awareness begins to shift from the unpleasant things into the pleasant things. And it's not about spiritual bypass, like, I just don't notice the neck pain, I just don't notice the neck pain. But we begin to settle into this state where it's like, I am safe with my neck pain. I am safe with my neck pain. It's okay to go deeper into being present with this neck pain. And that's where the transformation is. The transformation is not in the, I don't have neck pain, I don't have neck pain, I don't have neck pain. It's in the, I am safe in this situation. And that is the nervous system regulation. That is the kind of foundation for all this capacity work. Oops, that went far. That went fast. I have a couple of slides before that. Um, so why do we need capacity? We all have a certain limit of how much we can handle with the current state of our nervous system, which we kind of inherited or we got from our parents, from our upbringing. When we begin to heal more, it requires larger capacity to sit with the challenging. So, this is the roots. We need larger capacity to sit with the challenging. We all know that we can't do healing alone. We usually need another nervous system, a therapist, a teacher, someone to hold the space and be our anchor as we journey deeper into the pain. But then we also need the capacity to receive something delightful, something good, and there we can increase the capacity for the good, the branches and the leaves. Why we would want to increase our capacity, why we do this work. My individual why is in order to heal, in order to, even if I grew up in a certain kind of environment where it wasn't safe, it didn't feel good, I take the responsibility and I choose to bring myself somewhere where it's a garden, where there are flowers and butterflies. And of course, there might be, cockroaches and even snakes. There is still challenges there, but I am not going to stay stuck sitting in the dumpster. I am bringing myself into the garden because I can and I want to. um, and so that we can follow our dharma, our purpose. If you know me, you know that I am a deeply purpose driven person. I believe that my soul, I believe that everyone's soul came here on a mission to do something. And the first step in following our purpose is to heal ourselves and is to bring ourselves into a place where we feel worthy of following our purpose and our dreams. And so that we can have a really good life. Because I don't believe we came here to suffer. I believe we came here to learn through suffering, from that suffering, and then we came to learn the way kind of out of that into a more empowered place. This is the individual why. But then there is the collective why, and that is because the world needs us. We are here during very turbulent times. We are here like witnessing massive destruction of the planet. Humanity's in deep despair. Things are not great. We need balanced human beings who are connected to their purpose, who are able to self regulate, who are able to think not through brain fog of survival, but from clarity of regulation, and who are able to tap into their authenticity. They are healed because I believe healed people are unable to harm the environment. I believe healed people are unable to harm one another, animals. We need healed individuals. And this is the only way we can steer the ship sustainably in the correct direction, which is a healed planet to me. This is by Pema Chodron. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. And, we keep repeating the same cycle until we learn what we need to know, both individually and collectively. And I think that we can only learn when we are in this state of regulation, inner safety. We have the capacity to take the lesson from whatever we're going through. And then we receive the teaching and we can move on to the next thing. So these are my whys. You might have something else. Okay, signs of low capacity. Um, we have a very intelligent nervous system that is wired for survival. Thank you, limbic brain, for being so wired for survival that you're always scanning for threats and trying to keep me alive. This is great. And I think it speaks to the beauty of our existence. It speaks to this idea that our soul is so precious and it's so needed here in the world that we have this very kind of almost like aggressively excited system to keep us safe and to keep us alive and survive. So whenever we feel frustrated that, oh, my nervous system is taking me to fight, flight, freeze states, we can also celebrate that, wow, my body thinks that my soul is so precious. It needs to be here. I need to be alive at this time. So maybe I can give some mercy to my nervous system for doing what it knows how to do. But then at the same time, we can train our nervous system to know what are actual threats in life and what are lesser of threats. Maybe there are the cars down there or the construction noise, and it does feel like a little bit of a threat, but we can teach our nervous system to, highlight it less and less and less. Or if we have symptoms in the body, um, our nervous system might perk up and be like, oh my God, alert, alert, danger, danger, danger in the body. And then we can start teaching our nervous system, hey, this pain is safe. It's safe to be with this pain. And oftentimes, what we notice is that pain begins to fade away over time. So, we have different responses. The nervous system has responses of fight and flight and freeze, which is shutdown. And then we often also talk about fawn, which is not like an actual state of nervous system, but it is a behavior. It's a learned coping mechanism where our nervous system we begin to behave in a certain way in order to remain safe. So all of these ways in which our nervous system responds, they are here to keep us safe. When we have low capacity, we might find ourselves in the fight mode, which is usually like panic doing, busying around, forcing, trying, overreacting, pushing. So if we have, uh, situation, for example, I would have a financial concern that, hey, I'm an entrepreneur and I don't have clients for next month, or I don't know where my income is going to come. If that sends my nervous system into fight state, I begin to type, furiously, and I begin to reach out to people, and I'm like, hey, buy this, buy that, blah, blah, blah. And that is my system in fight response. Usually, that doesn't even give very great results. It leaves me feeling horrible. It gives me a feeling that I have done something, but I have done that from a place of like my nervous system being really fired up. And when I have more capacity to sit with the challenge of, wow, as an entrepreneur, I feel this uncertainty about next month. Ooh, instead of going into the fight state, I can self regulate. And then from the regulated place, I might be able to have a more clear action plan. Okay, I am going to put out a new service. I am going to send out an e-blast. I'm going to post something on Instagram, and going to contact these 5 people directly about my new service. Great, way more regulated. And there I am, I'm able to grow as a business owner because this instance doesn't send me to that state, but I'm able to regulate, I'm able to do this. And okay, moving on to the next thing, I can still enjoy life. We might also go into flight state. So this would be if I use the same example. Oh no, where am I going to get money? If my nervous system goes into flight, I will not be doing so much, but I might be in anxiety. I might be in mental scenarios. I might be in overthinking, restlessness. Like I don't have the ability to sleep. I don't have. I'm just anxiously thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like things are going wrong. And from that state also, I might not make very good decisions. I might be in that state for days, and then my business, gets into this state of like being stuck, and nothing really, goes on from there. Or the same scenario, I'm just using this as an example. You might have a different example from your own life. Could send me to a freeze response, like complete paralysis, like oh my God. And this is a shutdown. It's a nervous system shutdown. We get numb. My thing is, I just start scrolling. If I go into shutdown, this is what it's going to look like. Endless scrolling. I know I should be doing something. There is a problem I need to solve. But because my nervous system is like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. This is way too much. I am just going to go into shutdown. I might stare, into nothingness. I watch Netflix hours and hours on end. I usually notice my eating habits, my sleeping habits, my movement habits, they just plummet. So I am in a freeze state. And yeah, so this is again when I don't have a lot of capacity, or this problem that I have, it seems to overwhelm. And then the final nervous system state could be the fawn, so the people pleasing behavior, which is when we have learned to put other people's needs before our own. This is from childhood, usually, if we needed to kind of scan our parents and, okay, dad is going to get angry. Let me modify my behavior so that he doesn't explode. Okay, so I'm going to be like this. So, this is a behavior or survival mechanism that keeps going in our lives. And in my business, for example, I might be like, well, I need money next month, but I am not going to make this Instagram post because maybe this is going to upset some people or they won't like it. So let me just actually disappear. And then I keep having this problem of I have no cash coming into my business because I am stuck in this behavior. So when we have the capacity to be with these, when we have the capacity to notice when our nervous system goes into one of these states, and again, capacity doesn't mean that we never visit these states. These states are normal and they are desirable. We want our nervous system to be, activated and deactivated and whatever. We want flexibility, but we also want to have more capacity to, stay in the regulated state maybe longer or bounce back into the regulated state once we notice. When I notice, oh, I've been in freeze, um, that might have taken a long time in my past. I remember one of the first online courses I ever taught. I felt so much shame after the course because I felt like I had done something wrong, even though I didn't receive that sort of feedback, and I don't think that was the kind of objective reality. But my nervous system just interpreted the way the course went as complete failure. I was so much in shame, so I went into freeze mode, and I was there for literally months in this state of like, I'm not going to get anything done. I don't do anything. I don't deserve to put out another course. I am not going to show up anywhere. And imagine life lived like that. We have a lot of people living in a constant state of freeze, and that is horrible. It's uncomfortable to be there, and we need a little bit of activation in our nervous system in order to come out of that and come back to regulation. So the kind of goal is to learn to recognize. And maybe if that took me months in the past to come out of, maybe now it takes weeks or days or sometimes even hours. I'm like, whoa, I can notice I was in freeze mode for 2 hours. Now I know that this is just the freeze mode, even though it seems like all my thinking goes into like, oh, this is, you shouldn't go out there, don't put yourself out there, do not do this, do not get up and go. And then I'm like, no, this is the nervous system response speaking. Let me still go for a walk. I go for a vigorous walk and I stay, it's changed the state of my being. And then I'm like, okay, I was able to bring myself out of that because I have the capacity to notice it, to do something about it, and then also go towards the good in my life, the regulated state in my life. So, whatever the state of dysregulation is, the body is in survival mode, sleep, digestion, and cognitive functions are undermined, and we are more susceptible to health issues, for example. So, these are the states. Um, we Healing happens in the regulated state. So, and all kinds of growth, in our lives, in our relationships. It usually is best when it happens in a regulated state because then we have more awareness, we are more present, we are more online. So, online meaning that we are more present and more here, so much on the computer. So that's why we want to have a flexible nervous system. We want to have the capacity to bring ourselves back from one of these fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses. I've been sharing a little bit about my journey already, kind of as little examples here. Um, One time I remember very clearly, I I received an email or there was some sort of conflict situation um, happening in my life, and I remember the way it made me feel, like the activation in my nervous system, and my immediate response was to, I want to call a friend. I need a friend. And that's okay. That's totally fine because many times we co regulate with another nervous system, someone who is calm, so we can mirror. We have this mirror synapses in our brains, so we begin to mirror whatever the other person is doing. So if the other person is calm while I am anxious, being in the presence of this calm person will calm me down. So that's a healthy response. But I remember thinking back then, like, wow, well, I don't really have a lot of capacity to be with this activation on my own. So I wonder if I always need to call a friend in my life when I receive an email that activates me. How am I going to do this life? Like, how am I going to grow in my business? Which inevitably means that there are people who will question what I do, they will criticize what I do. If I every time have to call a friend to get through it, I will, have to spend a lot of time doing that. So maybe can I learn some tools of regulation where I can be with myself when that happens? So it means that, like I said, I couldn't take risks. I need to make my life a little smaller because if I don't have the regulation tools, I intuitively know that I'm going to be in massive danger if I have 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers, a million followers, or whatever it is. I'm going to be in trouble because I don't have I don't have the skills to calm myself down. Of course, this makes one avoid conflict. So maybe we are in a relationship, but then we avoid conflict with the other person because we feel so unsafe internally. So then the relationship doesn't get the chance to develop into a more meaningful and intimate relationship because we're constantly kind of dancing around, our partner or that person because we're avoiding conflict to the very end. I had anxiety around money, so I didn't want to look at my bank account. I didn't want to look at the numbers. I didn't really want anything to do with money. So this was also I wasn't able to kind of regulate and just be with money in my life, whether there was plenty of it or there was little of it, or there were worries or fears around it. I was just like, no, no, I can't be with it. So then I've done these body based practices in order to be okay with money, however it shows up in my life. And if we do stuff from dysregulated place, like I gave the example of frantically emailing people, like being like, oh my God, now I need to get sales, that is felt by others because we read energy, whether we recognize that or whether we're aware of it or not, we read energy. We know if something comes from a dysregulated place, usually. And I don't want to operate my business from a dysregulated place. I don't want to send frantic emails, buy, 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 because people can feel like, wait a minute, something is not okay with this person. Why are they so desperate? And I want to come from a place of regulation, especially in my business where I want to sell this ease for everyone. I want to sell peace. I want to sell calmness. I want to sell, the feeling that we're okay and we're safe in this world. So I definitely need to practice that first before I preach it to others. And this is not a judgment. There have been times when I've sent out emails from this place of dysregulation because I couldn't do anything else. I could not sit with that discomfort, so I had to do something. And that is okay. I have grace and mercy for myself for doing that. But that's not the way where I want to stay stuck. I want to keep evolving and growing and increasing my capacity from that place onwards. And then I always kept getting the same results as I had gotten in the past. So we all have kind of like an invisible nervous system glass ceiling, and it has to do with the good stuff as well. If we, the example of someone winning the lottery, winning like 10 million euros or USD or whatever dollars you deal with, um, it is quite common for that lottery winner to be in the same situation where they were before they won the lottery within the next 5 or 10 years, because I believe they don't have the capacity to hold that. They don't have the inner capacity to be with that 10 million. So they end up just getting rid of it, getting back to the familiar anxiety with money. It's familiar. So that's why our body will always choose familiar chaos, familiar misery, familiar turbulence over unfamiliar peace, unfamiliar happiness, unfamiliar calm. And this is the paradox we have in our systems. We will always choose the familiar over the unfamiliar. Even with health, we will always choose the familiar pain, discomfort, aches over the unfamiliar health, ease, lightness. And even though I mean it sounds simple, the journey from one to the other, it is a journey because the body is slow. The journey is usually slow. It doesn't have to take decades. It doesn't have to necessarily even take years. Um, but we need a lot of patience, and we need to do it at the pace of the body, at the pace of our nervous system. We only can begin to increase our capacity gradually. And I often compare it to if you wanted to do the splits. So in Finnish, we say spagat. If you wanted to, be able to stretch your legs into a split, you wouldn't just jump on a split on the floor. You would start increasing your flexibility one muscle at a time, one day at a time. First stretching your hamstrings, just lifting your leg up to the sky and stretching. Okay, yeah, my back of the leg is feeling really tight. And then over time gradually getting there, because otherwise if we jump into that 10 million, if we talk about my lottery example, it's our muscles are going to tear. They're not going to be able to handle that. They're going to bounce back, and we're going to be in the square one, or even, in some cases, even further back than where we started. So we need to work gradually. Okay, so that's where I'm already headed. So it's like stretching the hamstrings. It's continuous and consistent awareness of one's state and tools of regulation. So if you feel inspired, take that cues of safety, cues of danger practice into your everyday life. When you drive your car, okay, what in my body is now cueing me of danger? Oh, this headrest is pushing my head. Well, actually, I can move that. Okay, wow, interesting. What is cueing me of safety? Well, the seatbelt feels really kind of nice and supportive. Okay, and taking this practice wherever you go, starting to notice your nervous system and how it's responding to different things. Um, and of course, capacity, it increases over time. Over time, when we gain life experience, we begin to maybe ask for more in relationships, and we might gain confidence in our work and in our career, and we can have more responsibility there. But I do believe that we all need a more targeted approach to capacity. Um, Especially if we have a certain area in our lives where we notice that I am always hitting that glass ceiling. I am always, finding myself in the same situation, whether it's with health, with work, with relationships, with money, where we're not able to get past a certain point. Then we know I have a capacity issue. And it's not just a mental mindset thing, like we start repeating some affirmations like, I deserve the best, I deserve the best. We need to make our body feel safe to have that. We need to kind of slowly and gradually expose our body to small and small, but then increasing amounts of that good thing that we are about to have. Of course, we grow our roots all the time. We increase our capacity to be with the challenges, but then we also need to increase our capacity for the good. And as I said in the beginning, the real breakthroughs, they are in the work that we avoid. So wherever we don't want to look at and we're like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to deal with this stupid money or this stupid relationship thing, or I don't want to deal with this. That's usually where our work is. And we don't have to dive head first into it. It is painful and it's, uncomfortable for a reason, but we can start taking little bite-sized pieces of that and being like, okay, I can I can handle this. I can hold this little spoonful of this thing. I can sit with it. I can make myself be okay with it. And then we increase our capacity there. Okay, so I have an invitation for you to go on a journey with me. So, what I have seen in my client work lately and what I am studying right now, I'm studying integrative somatic trauma therapy with the Embody Lab. We're learning so much about nervous system, as you can probably tell. I'm very, very passionate about that, and other body-based tools for trauma healing, for growing those roots, and then to open ourselves up for more of the good to come our way. I have curated a somatic and spiritual group transformation program. Um, to help us to feel more regulated, to increase our capacity, and what I call to open up to more life. And that's why I named it More Life. I want all of us to be able to be with more life, experience this magical, miraculous life, to experience vibrant health, to experience intimate, supportive relationships, maybe on a level that we've never experienced in human history, where we really feel connected to one another. I want us to be able to follow our dreams and our purpose. I want us to receive enough money so that we can feel supported and we can do the things we want to do. We can travel. We can, eat the kind of food that we know is healthy for us. I want us to be more open in life rather than create that contained small life, because I know we're all made for it. And I know that if you came here and if you feel like there is something interesting about whatever it is in this webinar or what I'm talking about, it's available to you, and it's something that maybe your soul is like recognizing, like, yes, I want more life. I came for more life rather than less life, a smaller life. So this is my invitation to you to join me. First, in full transparency, I wanted to do this in 3 months. I was like, let's do a 3 month, coaching program. It's easier to sell because people sell where people buy like a shorter engagement, shorter investment, or lesser investment. And then I kept receiving this thing like, Michaela, like you can't do this work in short period of time. You need spaciousness. There needs to be more time. So that's why it'll be 5 months starting in, I forgot to include when we start. We start December 12th, so 12/12, and it goes on until mid-May. So there is 5 months to January, February, March, April, May. 5 months of group coaching. There will be 10 modules. So 10 modules. I have different kinds of modules. We're going to talk about the nervous system, the polyvagal theory. We're going to talk about people pleasing. We're going to talk about releasing anger, shame, envy, jealousy, guilt, all these really dense emotions from the body. We're going to do very, very interesting, very, very cool work. And then we're going to open up to the good. We're going to increase our capacity for all the good things in life. So this will be the journey. We'll kind of start from the roots during this darker time of the year in the northern hemisphere. It's winter. So over the winter months, we'll do the kind of slightly deeper work, really create foundation, and then towards the spring we'll begin to grow those branches and the leaves and the flowers, and so that we can come out in the spring from our coaching container with opening up to more life, opening up to this blossoming. So this is my invitation to you if you want to join. And the painful of this, PIF means painful, is 1,110 US dollars, or if you want to break it down to 5 payments of 250, so the total with this would become 1,250, so 1,250, so a little more. And I have some bonuses. So if you decide to join, you'll receive when you decide to join earlier, you'll receive a one-on-one session with me, and then you'll receive access to my online courses. If you speak Finnish, you can get my Finnish classes and Finnish resources. If you speak only English, or don't speak Finnish, but speak English, you can receive access to my English resources. And yeah, so that will be the bonuses. But there is no early bird pricing. I figured my nervous system likes the feeling of there is enough time. So there is enough time. There is no rush. So you can sit with this, let it land, see how it feels in your nervous system, in your body. Does this seem like, oh, it's a cue of safety to do this, or does it feel like a cue of danger? No. And then sit with it. So this is my invitation to you. I'll be sending you an email with more details. Um, so yeah, 5 months of practices, live calls. Every 2 weeks we have a live call, and then we have an ongoing Telegram group. So here you can receive coaching around if you have some sort of thing going on in your life. I will be joining in the Telegram group, and then you can also receive support and the love from one another, knowing that you're not alone on this journey. You are in the group. There are other people who are doing this work, increasing their capacity. So that's the power of the group chat. Okay, I have one more practice for us. We're going to wrap it up with the practice. So if you have any questions, if you want to say anything, now would be a good moment, because when we do the practice, I am going to then let you kind of stay in your own space, evening time in Europe. So you might even just, stay there laying down or whatever you want to do. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or open your mic now. And and the next practice, you won't need your paper or pen. So it will be a meditative practice, more like a energetic practice. So you can just get comfortable in your space. But I'm going to give us just a few moments if anyone has any questions. Okay, looks like no questions. We will go into the practice. So get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes here, begin to settle into your body. You can find that one pleasant, neutral, comfortable feeling place in your body. It could be different this time, so no worries if you change the location. And if there is no such place in your body, you're welcome to let your gaze rest in something comfortable in your environment. And just allowing yourself to feel that cue of safety, knowing that you are okay and you can return to this sensation, you can return to this neutrality at any point of this practice. And I'm going to invite you again to find that scale from 0 to 10 where your capacity is right now. 10 being, I am the most resourced, rested, nourished, healthiest version of myself, and I can go to depths of my situation. And 0 being, I have no capacity to deal with any other than just regulation and being in this sense of safety right now. So you might find yourself somewhere around 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7. Just noting that for yourself. No need to judge it, no need to make a story around it. Just allow yourself to be where you are. And then I'm going to invite you now to look for an area in your life. That might have come already as I've been speaking and we've been talking about the challenges. This area in your life where you feel like there is lessened capacity. So whether it's relationship, whether it's health, whether it's money, whether it's confidence in work, whether it's conflict with someone, just wherever you feel like there is less of capacity to be regulated, to be safe, to feel okay, where you notice that your body, maybe right now, as you think about it, goes into activation, either that fight or flight or freeze, and then return back to the neutral and the safety feeling in your body. So you just go for a little bit, you notice whatever response you have in your body, and then you return back to the safety, return back to where you are. And now, if this feels like the right thing, it's according to your capacity. If you notice that it was too much activation, too much going on in your nervous system, choose a smaller thing. Choose just something smaller for this moment. But if it feels like, yeah, I can deal with this, I can handle this, stay with whatever you've chosen. And then just begin to invite that energy into your room, almost like that energy, that thing would be taking a place somewhere in your space. And notice where it goes. Does it go far away from you? Does it go onto the floor? Does it go onto the couch? Does it go behind the shelf? Where does the energy of this thing go? And just anchoring yourself back into your body as the energy lands into your space. You can notice the feeling in your body if there is a sense of activation. Can you stay with that activation, being okay with not being fully okay, being okay, being activated by this thing? And just breathing here for a moment, allow yourself to be in the same space, noticing what happens. If this thing doesn't bring up any charge in your body, if it doesn't activate you at all, you can invite it closer, just a little closer to you, so that you are right at the edge of a little bit of activation, but not fully blown into it. And again, anchor yourself into your body, what feels safe and neutral in your body. and seeing if you can be with this. And we're not going to do anything more than just be with this energy. You're not going to try to solve it. You're not going to try to go away, to make it go away. You're not going to try to fix it. You're just sitting here, being present in your body and in your sensations, being with this energy, this thing that is slightly activating to your system. We're going to stay here for another maybe 3 breaths or so. If breathing feels good for you, it feels like it gives you more energy, more power, more strength. You're welcome to deepen your breath and really focus on it. Maybe one more breath here, holding this energy in the same space with you, being slightly at the edge of your comfort. And then anchor yourself back into your body by becoming aware of what is neutral, again, what is pleasant in your body. Is it the soles of your feet? Is it your knees? Is it your hands? The tip of your nose? And allow the energy of whatever you were working with, this activating energy, allow that to go away or whatever it wants to do. It might stay where it is. You might be so okay with it. Or maybe it just begins to float away. Maybe it even disappears into the ground. Just allow it to go where it came from, thanking it for working with you, helping you to increase your capacity and grow your roots, grow your branches. And you might do this practice with something that is perceived positive too. You know, if you are getting a raise at your job, maybe you increase your capacity to receive that raise or receive that responsibility or receive that loving partner or whatever it may be. Just anchoring yourself back into your space by opening your eyes. And again, look for something in your room that feels pleasant and safe, that gives you the feeling of, oh, I am safe. And then we're going to do one more physical grounding by taking one of your hands to the shoulder, the opposite shoulder, and then starting to either massage down or stroke down or however you like from the shoulder all the way down to the hand and your fingers. And then you're going to do the other arm whenever you're ready. Move as slow as you need to. Notice if you're moving really fast and maybe intentionally slowing down. And you can go a couple of times each hand, each arm. Oh. Okay, and then when you've done both arms the same amount of time, you can check with yourself, does it feel complete or do I want to keep going? If you want to keep going, keep going. And otherwise, I am going to wrap it up here. I know we spent a lot of time and I am really grateful for your time. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you received something of value out of this. I am going to stop the recording, but for those of you who are in the space with me, you will have the chance to say your byes and say your highs, and if you have any questions also. So that is available. Where do I have the recording happening here?